Alright, so let's talk about the second part of turning your freestyle skate, your everyday skate, into an aggressive skate. So once you have taken everything off, you made it more like this street style, now you're going to be able to put on a different kind of frame that's actually meant for grinding. So like I said before, some frames don't have this particular block in the middle that'll help you be able to grind on rails and do tricks. So for you to start getting into that, if you do have similar skates that do not have a UFS bolt system, then you're going to have to do a little bit of mechanics real quick for you to adjust to be able to get your street style frames onto this particular kind of boot. But this is just to show you what I have done. So today I'm going to put on these Create Original frames. These are a street style frame. These are a skater owned frame company. I've been working with them for a long time and I'm super grateful for them. These onto these skates and I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing, if you notice the bolts right here where the frame bolts would normally go inside, they are a little bit smaller than the actual bolt size that comes on these particular kind of skates. So for my Flying Eagle F3 Origami style skates, these are going to be, the bolt system is going to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use a drill, getting this drill bit. This is I believe a 5/32 that you could do, 5 and 32. So this is about the width that it's good enough to kind of move around. So that's basically enough. You want to find a drill bit that you can easily get inside the hole and it's not going to be too big or too small. So even if it's smaller, it just may take you a little longer to actually get the groove around where you need to. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let me get this going over here, make sure I have everything. So either I could do black or white. I think I'm going to go with the white this time around. Black is also really sick too on here, but I think I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I think I'm gonna do white this time and see how it goes. Black looks sick too. I don't know. Leave a comment in the video today and let me know what you guys think. Which ones I should do. I'll probably do these eventually at some point too as well, but maybe I'll drill out both just in case if I change my mind. I'm gonna take off the wheels and everything else first. So then that way, it'll be easy to put on to the frame instead of having the wheels already attached to the frame separate by itself and then trying to hold it down and take it off. If you got the time, if it's already on here and you don't have to hold it, then go ahead and take the wheels off. It'll make it that much smoother for you, I promise. Alright. Now, this is how you can turn any kind of freestyle skate. If you can get at these sole plates, you can make any of your skates like that, majority of them. But the Flying Eagle one is the ones that I'm using. These are again the F3. And this has been like the maybe third or fourth day I've skated them so far and been digging it. So some screws. So when you get these anti-rocker ones in here, it's going to be a little bit different. You're gonna really have to get those out. Well, it's been a minute since I took these out, so I might put on a new set. Sometimes I use the Allen key to kind of pop that out. Just make sure you don't do it too hard and hit anybody in the face. That's the worst thing you want to do. You don't want to do that. Alright. So I've got one anti-rocker out. So these smaller wheels, as you can see, these are a little bit smaller than the actual wheels on the outside. These are a 5890A, meaning the 58 is the size of the wheel. The 90A is pretty much the hardness of the wheel. So the higher the number, the harder the wheel. I prefer bigger wheels, not too big, but big enough to where I can like do gaps and feel comfortable cruising around at the skate park or just going A to B. And the anti-rocker wheels, these are my Moonshine wheels. These are basically in the middle of the frame so that you can kind of still go over bumps and cracks if you need to, and still you know, be able to lock tricks and not get wheel bite. That means like if you're riding all flat, you can, it just makes it a little bit different, just a different style of skating. But that's just what I prefer. So I like the anti-rockers and the 58mm size wheels. So let's rock with that. Finish taking these off. Now I'll show you what hardware comes off of the frames. You'll probably see these are probably really dirty. I haven't changed my frames out in a while. Now frames usually last a little bit longer depending on what kind of frames that you have. These particular frames are called Create Originals. They're really strong. I've used them for as long as I can remember. They are based out of the East Coast. I love supporting companies that are homies of mine. But it's amazing to see this company still be in the game, and can't wait to see what the future holds. So I'm just getting this off. If you take off all the wheels before you start dealing with the frame, it will make everything that much smoother. And also make sure you keep all your bolts and everything together so you don't lose anything. You want to make sure, keep your stuff organized. That will also save you a headache as well. And I've said that before in other videos, but it never hurts to keep practicing that. Remember, don't get too crazy with it. You don't want to hit it out so hard that, you know, it flies out, hits your camera, hits the TV, hits someone in the face. All those things. I'm trying to avoid that. So inside the frame there's also these little hardware in these particular kind of frames. So what it does, it basically holds the wheel in place. It's kind of like a spacer. So that's exactly what these are. You'll see these kind of come out. I'm trying to get all these out real quick. So all the hardware's off, all the wheels are off. It's pretty much naked now. Okay, so the frame is pretty much done. I mean, as you can tell, I've used this frame a lot. The groove is pretty much, you know, it's up into the bigger part of the frame. So you want to be careful, because at that point, if it gets too worn down, it gets more liable that it'll break. So if I do something big or something that has a drop or anything, the impact at some point could maybe, you know, crack the frame. So just keep in mind not to don't let your frames go too worn down. You want to get some frames to help you last for as long as you can, okay? So that's one skate down. Let's go ahead and get the other one so we don't have to worry about it later. Same exact thing, taking out the wheels. So the next thing we're going to do right now is just go ahead and now we're going to take off the frames off the boot. Alright, so once you got all of your wheels and spacers off of your frames, then it's time to start drilling into the actual frame. The drill bit that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're doing a circular rotation in the space where the hole would normally be at, so you can get the right size that's going to get the frame bolt from the skates to actually fit inside the hole now of the frame. That much simple, that now that you have a street style frame that can fit on a freestyle skate and turn into an aggressive skate. So if you don't have the means to do, you know, how you want, this is a way to go for it until things change. But this is a way, this is how I do it. This is my setup. So for right now, we're going to take the drill, and I'm going to get this side going so I can get the hole bigger to get the frame bolt inside. This, make sure if you are, you know, if you're a kid doing this, make sure you have some supervision to do this. If not, be careful anyway. You don't go too crazy with the drill going into your hand or anything. Just make it enough room for the bolt to go inside, and get the rotation down so you're not going, you know, too crazy. Okay, making this pretty simple. Alright, so then what you do is you stop for a sec and see how far you have gotten. It's not there just yet, but I gotta just even it out a little bit. Ooh, that's why you gotta be careful. Alright, so you don't want to make the hole too big or too small. You want to make sure that you have it the right size. If it's too big, you don't want the frame bolt to basically be swimming inside the hole and your frame boot. So you want to make sure you get a nice size. So make sure you check every now and then how your space is going and check it, okay? Very important. You want to make sure you're doing it as you go. There we go. Perfect. So you want it snug, just like that. Alright. Get this back out. So that's almost too snug. So maybe I'll do it just a little bit. Alright. Boom. Look at that. Alright, so both sides on this frame are now able to go onto a freestyle skate now. If you have the time to take to do that, you can make a skate that you do just like this. So now, just to make sure and test it, I'm going to go ahead and take my boot. Okay. So I put this cloth down so you don't make a crazy mess with all the dust off of the plastic that you've been using. So now we're going to go ahead and place the frame onto the boot. Okay, I think I got a good lineup. Okay, one's in there. The other one's in there, it seems like. Holding everything into place right now. So I'm going to slowly tighten in one, not all the way in just yet, and then I tighten the front one first too. And I kind of wait a second just to check a look. And that's just kind of a preview. Look at that. Went from a frame that couldn't go on here to being able to actually fit it on. So just like that. Alright, so this particular boot is ready for the second part. I'm going ahead and putting all the wheels and bolts back on. So make sure your frame bolts are tight. Not so tight that you strip them, but tight enough to where you know they're secure in there and you're not going to worry about them coming off or losing a bolt. You know, that's why you always want to make sure you check your gear and make sure you're not losing anything as you start skating, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put that one down. So now let's get back to the drill. Now we have to do the opposite frame and do the same exact thing. So now these holes are too small for the bolts to go in. Go ahead and take off the old frames. Now you don't want to wait too long to change the frames. If your frames are worn down so much that the plastic has gone, you know, pretty much to the sole plate almost, that means it's time to change your frames, because you're making it easier for you to chance that you could break the frame or crack them, or you know, so you want to make sure you pay attention to that, or rotate the frames as much as you can. I've been skating a little bit. So we're going to change these out. These have definitely held their purpose. They've gone a lot of places. These frames I also skated while I was in Africa, so these are frames that I will not just, you know, toss aside. Those are great times. And I'm excited to be able to kind of share this little knowledge with you guys, because this also is something I'm doing too. So if it works for me, it'll work for you as well. And make sure that you leave comments in the video below on this one. Let me know what you guys think. So yeah, so taking off the old frames, there's like dirt and all kinds of stuff on here. So now we're gonna go ahead and set this boot off to the side. Same exact thing. So right now, the frame bolts are a little bit bigger than the UFS system that the normal street frames have. A different bolt system that this particular brand right now does not have. But until they do switch over and be able to have something like this is what you can do in the meantime. This will help you be able to still work with what you have and be able to motivate you to keep, you know, progressing, and also getting something different along the way, or getting something different from this brand as well. So remember, this is something that should not be something frustrating for you. You got to take your time with things that you are doing with this. It's just more respect that you're doing, knowledge that you're gaining about what you are skating. You have more respect for something that you create. So this is just you creating something, expressing yourself. It's literally like you're being like a mad scientist or an artist. Okay, look at that, I got that in there. It's a little snug, but I think the more that can kind of shimmy that through back and forth, look at that, that'll work. So cool, so we got one down. Now it's time to go to the second hole. Check it. Good still. Let's see. Ooh, getting there, close. So remember, it's really important to always check that time. Make sure you're checking that your bolt's in there. If it's almost there, you keep doing it. Don't go crazy with it and then check it at the end, because then if you did it too much, then you can't go back. So remember, you only got that one frame unless you got a couple frames, but make sure you take your time. If that's it. Yep, I think so. Let's see if I can get it back out. So that's usually always the test. If you can get it in and out, that means that it's good. If not, that means it's pretty stuck in there. So you got to make sure that you get it in there good. Okay. In and out. And be careful too, okay? Right, so now it's on there perfectly. And now we're going to put the frames back onto the skate now, onto the boot. So if you can do this, this will help you start. So if you know someone that has, parts and you can put it all together, that's always a good way to do it too. So I'm going to put this on here so I can get this on, and then I'm going to show you guys when it's all done and completed as well. Getting the line up on it, okay. I think it's really cool that getting able to test different stuff and also kind of show with you guys how we're taking something and making something else with it. So taking one idea and helping bring a whole new style to it. And I'm just super grateful. So this is my new frame setup now. Alright, now make sure when you're tightening your bolts you don't over tighten them too much where you are stripping them or just where you can't get them out. You want to make sure that they're solid in there, and you want to check them all the time. Alright, so look at that. I went from the old red frames to now these cream Fiberlux collaboration. It's like a creamy color, and now they are on my skates. So that is how you can take a freestyle skate or a rec skate and you can put on aggressive style frames onto this boot with these sole plates. Okay? That's how you do it. Leave a comment. Leave a like if you like them. Leave a no if you don't. If you have any questions, please add that in the comment as well. There's a link in the description where you guys can also check these out, and also there's a discount code that I give you guys that's in there as well. And yeah, can't wait to see y'all just rolling. Everybody can do this. So now we're going to go ahead and put back on the spacers and the wheels and the anti-rockers back on. So once you got your frames back on good, go ahead and put the spacers back in. On these frames are like these small little pieces that go inside the frame that kind of pop in just like that. Now depending on how new or how old your frames are, sometimes it will be a little challenge getting the spacers in, so you will have to kind of pry and maybe use the wheel as leverage to pop it in as well. There's all kinds of different techniques and ways to do it. You know, I hope the best for everyone that's doing it. Don't get frustrated. Don't get, you know, upset. Okay. Getting the anti-rocker wheels inside is a little bit of a challenge. Usually I use a hammer, but since right now I didn't grab the hammer, I'm going to try to use my old frame and kind of bang it inside. Okay, so we got that in there. Alright. So then what I do then, once I get that in, then I get the other frame, or I mean the other Allen key, and kind of shimmy it back up so I can get it where I want. There we go. So the reason why I put the anti-rocker wheels in first, you don't want to put the bigger wheels on first, because what happens is the frame will get tight at the end and it'll make it harder to put the middle wheels in. So start with the middle and then go out. Okay? So let's grab the other one. Make sure your spaces are in there. They might get knocked out when you're hammering the anti-rocker wheel in. It may come out, so just make sure they're in there. Kind of get in a good spot. Spacers. Oh, let's see. Oh, one of the spacers came out, so I'm going to go ahead and put those back in there. Alright, so same thing. Alright, cut that in. Use the Allen key to kind of push around where you want it to. Make sure they're in there good. So remember what I said, you gotta have a little bit of patience with when you're doing this stuff, because it is something that you gotta respect. Alright, so I got my wheels. These are the Sean Keen Eulogy wheels. I'm going ahead and putting those in right here. Front. Make sure that rolls. Put the other one on. Okay. So that's pretty much what it will look like when I put all the bolts in. Looks pretty fresh. Alright, now when you're putting your bolts in, I usually like to put the longer piece on the inside. The inside of the frame, and the shorter one on the outside. Everyone does it different. That's just the way that I do it. You kind of come up with your own routines and your own ways of putting your setups together, and that is something you want to just keep fun as long as you can. So again, with the anti-rocker wheels, the anti-rocker wheels may sometimes be a little bit harder, so you will have to, you can use, you know, that. Just like that, straight all in. Now this is just ways, if you don't have a hammer, if you don't have certain tools, you can use the things that you have. There's never, you know, I mean, there's always ways. You can always find a way. Right. Same thing with this one. We're gonna at least start to get it in. You know where the hole is. Alright, that looks pretty good. See if I can start hammering it down in there. That's pretty good. Get it in as far as you can. Alright, so that is all the way in. Now I'm placing this one in. Now the anti-rocker wheels are a little bit harder because it's a harder plastic. So it's not like the urethane wheels, so they are a little bit harder, and that's why they are so sturdy. So once you get them in, they're pretty much locked in. They're not going to just fall out unless you do have some kind of problem with the bolts. But for the most part, they lock everything in, and it's pretty sturdy once you get them in. Just going through all the frame bolts again. Make sure everything is tight. sturdy. Sounds good. Alright, now that is how you turn your skate into a aggressive skate. So what I did was take the F3 Flying Eagle skate and took off all the assets that it had on it as far as making it being a freestyle skate, and basically took the Inkadu sole plate and put it onto the F3 and basically customized the aggressive frames called Create Originals and put these on these boots. So being able to take an aggressive frame and put it onto a freestyle skate and make it to an aggressive style skate. This is meant for grinding, doing tricks down, rails or anything like that. So when you're doing specific kind of tricks, the kind of skate is meant for that. So you're not having to use the freestyle frame to try to do grinds and stuff. You're able to actually take a frame that's meant for it and put it onto the skate. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Leave a thumbs up if you like them. Yeah, let me know what you think. Now I gotta get the other one put together, and I'm gonna go try to skate these as soon as possible. Yeah, sick. Glad I went with the white. So if you thought I should have did black, probably do that next time. I think those look pretty sick. The white just kind of gives it a little more pop. Yeah. So go ahead and we'll do the other one as well. So I'm going ahead and putting all this on here. This is the final setup. That feeling of when you get something completed that you put your time and that work into, that's what it's about. When you had a vision and you put that vision into reality. So remember, go back through all the bolts, make sure your frame bolts are tight, make sure everything is good, sound sturdy. Make sure you keep all your old parts. If you have homies that need old frames, don't feel that you can't give out your old frames. These particular frames I'm going to keep because these are very special to me. But yeah, so this is it. My new setup. Going from a freestyle skate to an aggressive style skate. And basically making a frame that wasn't necessarily designed for this boot to now be able to skate something like this. So it is possible. You can do it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Thumbs up, thumbs down. And the next video what we'll do, we'll probably do something with the wheels the next one. So keep a lookout. Let's get it forever. Chill.